Oh, damn. How's your family doing, by the way? How's the husband and kids?
She's not really here for myself.
No, I was talking to her.
I know her mic's off.
Her mic is off?
Live on Facebook as well. All right, guys, we're live.
Into the good part.
Well, guys, we are live on Facebook and YouTube at the moment. Say hello to everybody.
Hi.
What's up?
Mics are a little weird now. I don't know what's going on.
I have no idea.
Sound like robots. Am I a robot?
No, you are fine at the moment.
Beep boop.
Terran 3000 does not compute.
Yeah.
Can't really hear you very well. Let's see.
Can you hear me now? Sorry.
Huh?
Can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you.
I can kind of hear you, but at the same time, it sounds kind of robotic.
Just like I like it.
Hi, guys.
Kind of robotic.
So, would you like to introduce yourself?
I really can't hear you. That's a problem. Can you guys hear each other okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I think I'm going to get my computer up and running, so maybe that won't be an issue.
Okay.
I don't know if it's just an issue on the phone or not. So that's weird.
Can you hear us good now?
And I can hear you. It's just it sounds like a robot. So I am going to get my computer up.
Let me ask you a question. If you were to tell me what kind of robot it sounds like, is it like a toll robot? A little
it
robot?
Sounds like a very
like
far in the distance kind of like robotic noise coming from space. That's what it sounds like. So maybe pull it up on my computer and I will come in that way. And it won't sound like a robot. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I was trying to do it with my phone because I can have the light here.
Honestly, I think that's Rob putting effects on our voices. I know you know how to do that, man.
I'm not doing that.
Say what? trying to make me sound like R2D2.
Okay, I'm gonna come in from my computer and then exit from here. So hang on 1 second.
No problem. Yeah, and there you are.
Whoa!
Much better. I don't know what was going on there. So yeah. Hi guys. It's a good thing I have my computer just sitting right here. So I could hear you just fine before you played the song, and then after you played the song, my whole system was like, nope, not gonna do that. So so hi, how you doing?
So hi. Do you want to give us a little background of your band?
Yeah, so our band's called Lilith Rising. We got together, well, this current group technically has been together very newly, but we all got together last year in June of 2020. I joined as a new vocalist for actually a band called Winter Solstice at the time. Yeah. And then we had some changes. The guitarist left, and then from that point, we decided with the new guitarist and everything, we were going to change our sound and change our name. So this became Lilith Rising. We wanted to be more in the metal realm. We wanted to be more in the operatic, symphonic realm, which you can hear more towards the end of that song. We kind of get into the more operatic high register of my voice. That's what Alan has always wanted to do, our drummer, and that's what a lot of other band members wanted to do as well. So we went with that. This year has been a lot of fun. We've been going on stage, slightly touring. I wouldn't really call it a tour, but we've at least left North Carolina and gone to other places. We've been in South Carolina, Brewstock with Nestor and his awesome band. But we've had a ton of fun. And now we're actually coming into a new chapter of Lilith Rising as well, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But I joined in 2020, and I've absolutely loved being back on stage again. It's been a lot of fun.
So I'm going to ask a hard question here.
Okay.
What do you want to leave as your legacy?
Leave as my legacy?
Yep.
Overall, I just want people to have a good time and to enjoy good music. So that's really what I want my legacy to be, is that they had a good time at my shows or our shows, and they enjoyed our music. And I mean, if it's not your type of music, that's one thing. But if it is your type of music and you've had fun, then I've done my job. And we've all done our job. Alan's particular legacy is to blow your face off. But we're working on that right now to blow your face off in 2022.
I thought Alan's legacy was to have the first 50-piece drum set on a stage.
Oh, that's one of his legacies. Yes, that's one of them. Yes. Alan's legacy is to blow your face off with his drum set. Massive. Mine's to blow your face off with my high-pitched voice. Yeah. And I also have some growling that's going to be coming in new songs. So I'm going to blow off a little bit of faces going into that one too. Though I think live, because a lot of my songs I've written with a vocal part as a female vocal and then the growl part as like the false chord, it might need to be done by one of my other bandmates live, or I might bring other people on stage to growl with me. So I think that'd be kind of cool to get some of you guys to come on stage. One of my ideas is to try and get Mindy to come on stage with me from Dying Oath, so she can do the growls and I can do the pretty screaming.
Nice.
Especially since a lot of the songs that we do are female centric. So like Goddess Rising, and then the newer song that we're working on is called Dear Lilith. So they are a little female centric in that kind of realm.
Or get Kay to do it.
Yeah, who to do it?
Get Kay to do it.
Okay, yeah.
Get her to work on her growls.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I actually did a growl and then I played it for a couple people in the band. They were like, "Who's doing that?" I was like, "I'm doing it."
Nice.
Nice.
Like, that sounds scary. I'm like, it's supposed to sound scary.
It's the goal.
Yeah, it's the goal.
So in the chat, we have Missy, we have Chip, and
hi. There's a Chip from 50 Flies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chip.
And there's Missy Wood.
Missy Wood. Hi, Missy Wood. I know Missy Wood too. Awesome.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So I still remember when you first joined, because I remember the first time I've ever heard of your band was when you guys were Winter Solstice.
Yeah.
I never got to play with you guys as Winter Solstice, so the good thing is that I've always known the band with you in it.
Yeah.
Was Kay already? I know Brandon came in later when you guys switched names, but was Kay always part of the band? Like, or did she come in after you, or
she came in after me? I brought her in. Yeah.
So you brought her in?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I love her, by the way. She adds so much sound to you guys, and it's great. It's great. I love you guys' performance. By the way, side note, I was there where you guys were doing that filming with Brando Jones. So that video you showed, I was there.
Yeah, you were there. Yeah. That was the first show of us playing out in 2021.
Yeah, it was like in I believe it was March or something like that. It was at in Greenville at the Radio Room.
Yep. That was a lot of fun. I was scared to have him come out and do a video of us, like our first time out in the first of the year, especially doing Goddess Rising. That one, it made me nervous. Because there was, before that, when we did practice, there were some timing issues where we weren't quite synced up, and everybody was like, we'll get it.
You guys are very progressive, so it's definitely like tricky to be able to, especially when you're writing, like you said, and you're doing like a brand new song like that. It's the timing and all that stuff. It's definitely not easy to do. So kudos to you guys.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I mean, practice is always a lot of fun, but it's a lot of fun just kind of like harping on all your bandmates at the same time. And they're like, we're just trying to get it. And you're trying to keep it as the lead. I'm trying to keep it kind of like nice and light. So most of the time it's mainly me and the guys sitting there just like making a bunch of dirty jokes, trying to keep the our spirits high as we just progressively continue to suck them. If you know how you do it, you do it right like one time, and then after that you keep practicing. You're like, we're just getting worse. So that's when we take breaks. The guys smoke and they take smoke breaks, and I'm like, I sit in there and I mess around with my phone or whatever because I don't smoke. So but
so what is it?
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. That's fine.
The coming year, we have had some lineup changes, and I'm just going to tease it as that because I'm not going to say any more than that. We have had some lineup changes because you guys knew that we were looking for a guitarist. We have found a guitarist.
Awesome.
We found another person to join us. Very talented people have joined our band. One of them has been in the scene. Two of them. One of them has been in the scene for a while. You might actually know from other bands. The other one is new. He just moved to Charlotte. So I won't tell any more than that. But we do have a photo shoot coming up on the 19th with a very talented photographer. So we're going to be teasing that hopefully this year before the new year.
So 2 guitars now. Okay. I'll leave it as a surprise. I'm not going to ruin the surprise because I'm very nosy.
Yeah, I mean, one of them definitely kept on the wraps because we're just gonna tell people when we need to tell people. So yeah,
I got it. You guys got a flute player.
Yes,
somebody's gonna play the triangle.
And an accordion player.
I'll play cowbells.
Yeah, we're looking for someone to play cowbells. So Alan really has that one down. There's a cowbell on his. Well, there used to be a cowbell on his set.
He has to have at least like 5 cowbells on his set.
There's something on it that sounds like a cowbell at this point because he was messing with it at the last practice. So, but the one other person that's coming on is super talented. Is actually going to bring in some of the songs that they've already written, and then we're going to work on those together in the coming year. The idea is to have at least 6 or 7 songs. So Goddess Rising is going to be re-recorded with the new members. Dear Lilith is going to be a teaser, but again, we're going to re-record it with the new members because it was written with the old guitarist. Then we have a song called Wrath, which has been played at some of our shows, which is kind of slow in the beginning, gets heavier at the end. That one, again, is going to be rewritten and re-recorded, or recorded in general. We also have another song called So-Called Love, which sounds like an emo song, but it's not really an emo song, though it is emotional. And then I have another one that I'm working on called Lies. And then we have one more song, which is probably going to end up being a ballad.
Nice.
So the idea is to get 7 of them recorded in the new year, like January, February, and then be ready to go in March. Again.
Do you guys already have a place where you plan to record at, or you guys are still kind of shopping around and looking?
We do, as far as I know. There's somebody that has been in contact with us since last year. We were going to record a lot of stuff last year, but then with the changes, we couldn't really do it.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Because we've been without a like permanent guitarist, and we've still been doing shows. We've been without a permanent guitarist since around like what, July or
August? You guys made the announcement like a couple months back, and you guys already had like a pretty much full schedule.
Yeah,
for the rest of the
so
year. Yeah.
Luckily, the guitarist still wanted to like stay with us for their shows, but then after October, we couldn't do any more shows, which sucks because a lot of bands were like, "Hey, come play with us," and we're like, "We can't."
Right.
And it got to a point where we're trying to find a guitarist, and nobody would commit or like show up to audition.
It's hard.
Yeah, they would like ghost us. Like I don't understand. Like ghost completely. And I'm like, one person they were really interested, and then they listened to more of the stuff that I sent out, and they were like, "We can't do that." I'm like, "All right," I don't know what to say. So we found a solution to that. You guys will learn about it in a little bit. But I'm super excited to get the teaser out, because I'm really, really proud of what I did in the bridge, especially of Dear Lilith, because that's where the growl happens, and then get it recorded, everything like nicely recorded, and then send it out to the world. Because a lot of people have been asking what's the next song, because we released this one at the very beginning of the year. And normally we would have released something already, but it is what it is. We've still been working, so that's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're just working with the setbacks you were given, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's not like you plan to have to replace a guitar player, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the bands where they had to replace like a bassist, and they've still been looking for a bassist, and they've been looking for a bassist since the beginning of 2021, which has basically put them out of playing any shows. Well, luckily we at least have like fill-in characters that can play, but it's never really the same.
Here's what I want to know. Like, why would you postpone a show like if you don't have a bass player? You can't hear him anyways.
Well, in our songs,
wow.
Bass player, you can hear the bass player, and bass player is a very integral part of
I
our
know.
songs.
I always have to bust their balls, always, every time.
Yeah,
I get the chance.
Especially this one song, So-Called Love, it starts with bass.
Okay.
Like it's a doo-doo song. If you've heard it live, Nestor, you have probably heard
I have. Yeah.
And it starts off with bass. So, and in Goddess Rising, bass is actually super important in that song too. So
you're saying it's all about the bass?
Yeah, it's all about the bass.
Yeah, it's all about the bass.
It's all about the bass. I think that with your style of music too, it's very prominent, you know.
Yeah.
The way you guys start songs and the kind of riffs you guys have, for sure. I could see that. For sure.
Yeah, everybody in the band makes up like an integral part of it. I mean, obviously, you can't really have the band without like the lead vocals, but you can't. A lot of the songs that we want to do have to have keys. There was talk of like before the keyboardist joined of like just having backing tracks, and no one was really on board with that. And everybody I talked to that's like a serious musician was like, you can't do backing tracks, and I'm like, I mean, I did them way back in the day. I was okay with it, but it also means you have a click track in your ear the whole time, and you can't go off of any kind of beat. It doesn't really feel like organic, you know? But I was okay with it. Just everybody else in the band was like, we don't want to do clicks.
Okay, speaking of that, did you ever take music theory?
Yeah. I've actually been I started vocal training since I was like 10 years old.
Okay.
So, and then I went quickly into opera training, and then I stopped. So there's a little bit of an operatic part in my voice. I actually was signed to a record label back when I was 18, 19 years old, and they put me back in vocal training.
Okay.
So mainly because they wanted me to sound like Amy Lee from Evanescence. That's basically what
Okay.
my whole album basically sounded like a ripoff of Evanescence, but I was okay with that at that point because I was like, I want to be in a band, I want to be famous. But now my priorities have changed. I don't necessarily need to be famous or want. I mean, it'd be cool, but I don't need to be famous to do what I do. Back in the day when I was a teenager, I needed to be famous. But then that record label fell through with all of our songs, which in retrospect was probably a good thing because my band was not copacetic. We weren't. I was the only one that everybody liked, so the guys didn't like each other. So it would have broken up very quickly after the fact. So it's okay. Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize how hard it is to be in an actual band. Like that they think that it's, oh, I see them on TV, I'm gonna be a rock star, and it's not even like that. I mean, you gotta connect with people that may have different, tastes and different opinions that you do, and it's just a matter of how you guys get together and put everything in this pod and mix it all together to come up with a sound together. And on top of that, you have big personalities, man. Like I know I have a big personality, and dealing with me is probably not easy, and dealing with some band members is really definitely not easy. So kudos on that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like I said, we try and keep it lightweight with dirty jokes. Keep out things that are anything that's too big of a topic. We try and scoot past that. It's about the music. It's not about ego. That's the biggest thing that we've talked about as a group. That ego really has no place in our group. And we just try and go with the flow as much as possible. Very little drama. That's the idea. And in previous bands, the reason why it took such a long hiatus between bands is because of drama and not wanting to deal with it. So this group, especially the one that we have right now, is a no drama group.
That's awesome. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
So how did you get the name of the band?
So Lilith Rising actually came out of a couple different conversations. One of them is I already had lyrics for Dear Lilith, and that was written before we even were thinking about changing the name, with the old guitarist. And then we were just talking about, I think we went back and forth about like making it like a Latin name, because a lot of metal bands have like Latin names.
Okay.
And there was some kind of joke about one that was about a hot dog that Alan kept throwing out to me. He's like, no one will know. And I'm like, someone will know. And Brandon and I were actually talking a lot about the myth and lore behind Lilith. And he actually started digging in to that on his own free time. And he came back. And it was actually at Myrtle Beach that we were sitting there. The last show that we played in Myrtle Beach in November of last year. We were behind the bar at Gator Tales, and we were talking about it, and we had like 3 names to choose from, and Lilith Rising seemed to be the best one. It was that and the Latin name and then something else I can't remember. It's in my notes somewhere. It's like a list of names that we could have been. And I was obsessed with Lilith, the whole lore behind Lilith and all that other stuff. I'd already written a song to go with the whole idea, and it just, my brain kept saying, that's a good name, that's a good name. And then everybody else kind of agreed with that too, especially Brandon. And we all just kind of came to a consensus that was a good way to go. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Did you ever name a band something that you regret?
Oh, No, I was a part of bands for names I did not like.
Give me an example.
I mean, when I joined Winter Solstice, I didn't necessarily love that name either.
Okay.
But one of the bands that I was in was called it was like Mud Splat or something like that.
Mud Splat.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like an old punk band that I was with in Jersey. So it was like a punk / ska band, and it was already called like Mud Splat. And I didn't like it, but they didn't want to hear my opinion.
I think the worst band name I've ever had has been actually with this band, that before we got this name, our old drummer came up with the name Torque.
Torque?
Like Torq. I was like,
oh, yeah.
what the fuck does that mean? He's like, like the torque on the car, bro. I'm like, you can't, it doesn't really ring off the tongue like torque. Like, it's just weird.
It needs another word to go with it. Yeah.
That and like 50 other bands had like the same idea. So,
Yeah. I was like, I'm pretty sure I know another band called Torque.
Yep. But Lilith Rising is very original, by the way. I mean, I've never heard any other band.
No, I haven't either.
Like at all.
Yeah. The only thing that got confusing for one of the bandmates was like, there is an album called Lilith Rising, but that's not a band. But I was like, there's going to be, because it's metal, a lot of people like Lilith, like they like, she's considered a demon, or she's considered like a witch, or like female, feminist figure, or a goddess, or that kind of thing. So a lot of people like the whole Lilith stuff. It's the same thing when I was sitting there looking at Aleister Crowley names. Like I was just looking at names in the I don't know if you know anything about Aleister Crowley, but the writing, like I've always been obsessed with the one of the made up words that he has is Perdurabo, which is one of the things that I was thinking about for the band. But I looked into it and I was like, there's a bunch of people referring to Perdurabo and Aleister Crowley and all the other things. So it's metal. People are still people have the same kind of thoughts. So yeah. But I do like at least at this point, when you look up Lilith Rising and you look up our song, that's the first one that comes up. No one else has those two combinations together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what?
Sorry, go ahead.
So what's the best part about being a musician and the worst?
The best part is just being able to be on stage. I'd say the worst part is the anxiety that comes with putting our songs out there, especially like Goddess Rising, where I'm in a group, or at least in the scene. The biggest anxiety I had was I'm coming into a scene where a lot of the songs don't sound like this. A lot of the songs are like heavier and they have a lot of screams or that kind of thing. A lot of the songs don't sound like that, especially once we lost one of the main female-led bands in Charlotte, which is Reason to Find. Nothing else sounds like it. So I was really nervous and I had a ton of anxiety. I'm like, is this good? Do people like it? Will people like it? So I think that's the biggest thing I have, is just anxiety about releasing new stuff. People will like it.
I hate loading in and out.
You hate what?
I hate loading in and out of venues.
Oh.
That's my
favorite. I know you're a vocalist too, but I'm a vocalist that has not been expected to load in and out as much as everybody else. Man. I still do. If you watch me at the shows, I still pick up drums and I will move them. I'm expecting to move too much because I'm just scared of breaking your stuff. Alan has entrusted me with a few of his items, so he'll let me move some stuff. But we usually have like a big guy come in and take stuff out. And then a lot of times other bands help out too, which is really good. That's probably one of the best things about being back in music is the community that involves. Is as soon as I joined Winter Solstice, as soon as I started playing out, everybody was so cool. And I hadn't experienced that before in the past because I'd been in other bands where there was no like real community, like nobody was helping each other out. It was all about competition. So there is still some competition because like you still want to be at like the big shows and stuff, but it's more community driven than anything and less competition driven. So I really love that.
Agreed. Yeah. I've been told that too. Like I wasn't part of the music scene here, and because the whole North Carolina, South Carolina scene apparently was very different. Just a couple years back, and I'm still new in the scene too. And this band is new for you too. Like I guess our experiences are pretty much the same with this 2 new bands that we have. Yeah, man, it's been very positive. Everybody's been super friendly. Everybody's been super helpful to each other. We just want to see each other succeed and just have fun doing it. And it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I really like it when other people tag like my band and then I'll tag their band, and it's just like we all want to see each other. There's room for everyone to get where they want to go. And it's the same thing. Like I have a little small business, and that community has been picking up for me too, where there's space for all of us at the top or even at the middle, you know? So that's my biggest thing is like, again, I don't need to be famous to do what I do. I just need a few people to like me and like my stuff, and I'll keep doing it.
Awesome.
And as long as I got friends around me and I have music that I can play and all that, I'm happy. The scene has come a long way in the last 3 years. It takes bands and fans to create the vibe. Yeah. And I absolutely love the people that love me, especially Brad, if he's in here or if he sees this later. Brad is always at the forefront of the shows. I like that.
That's awesome.
Is there anything that you would want to change in the music scene?
I would always like to see more female fronted bands here locally. I don't know if it's necessarily a change, but I do know a few female fronted bands. There's a lot less than there was when I first started coming into the music scene. And I think that has more to do with like the pandemic, like breaking up bands and like them just kind of dispersing and going their own way. So the biggest thing that I would like to see is more female fronted bands in my area, but I do know they exist elsewhere. So much better now. Have to love each other. Yeah. And Chip has been great. Chip I had known since like the very beginning of me with Winter Solstice. So he's been awesome.
I love Chip. Let me ask you one question before I personally have to go, because I got to put my kids down. I know you know what that's like, by the way. How's your husband and kid doing, by the way?
They're good. We were sick for a couple weeks. Thankfully, it wasn't anything bad, but we've been sick for a couple weeks, so we're all getting better. Mainly the migraines. Being sick and having a migraine has sucked.
Weather changes and everything is making everybody extra sniffy and everything.
Absolutely.
My last question before I head out, not before this is over, before I head out, is if you, not the band, I mean, you can talk for the band if you like to, but if you had a goal of a performance that you would say, hey, this right here, it's on my bucket list, and after I do this, I don't care what happens anymore, I'm happy. It's what would be that moment for you that you think would make it for you?
Well, I'm reaching for the stars, but I would absolutely love it if I could perform with a band like Nightwish or with Incantation. They're obviously, I don't know if it's obvious, but they are one of my, kind of people that has influenced me to be where I'm at. So I started loving Nightwish when I was like 15. So I've already seen them live, but if I could play with them, especially just be in the presence of Floor Jansen, I would be absolutely thrilled. And I think anything after that would just not matter.
Yeah, you guys remind me a lot of Nightwish and Lacuna Coil. Like,
I've been told the Lacuna Coil part, the Nightwish one. I don't think I come anywhere close to Nightwish, but
it's your vocal style for me personally.
Yeah,
for me.
And we do a Nightwish cover. We do Nemo, and I try and I'm more influenced by the way that Floor Jansen has sung it live rather than any of the previous singers that were in Nightwish. So yeah, to be compared to any of them makes me blush like crazy.
Well, it was awesome talking to you, Taryn. I know we'll be seeing each other very, very soon. Hopefully, playing shows hopefully together very soon.
Yeah.
Rob, it's always a pleasure, brother.
I'll see you soon.
Send my love to the rest of your band. Hopefully,
I
I'll
will.
be seeing you guys soon. Okay. Have a good
Okay.
night, guys.
All right, bye.
Okay.
I love Nestor. He's awesome.
Yes, he is. So you said you have a side business. What is that?
That's this little like witchy thing. I have them in the background actually. I make these like moon wreaths and stuff, and it's a called Twisted Moon Crafts. So I've been working on that. I've actually been picking up a lot of business over this season because I joined TikTok.
Okay.
And I made friends on that side, so they've all been like spreading the word. So it's really cool that way.
Well, if you send me a link, I'll put it in with everything else.
Okay, cool. And our band has also joined TikTok too. We've only put out like a couple of videos, but if you want to join us on that journey, we have like 200 followers over there, so that's not too bad.
No, it's not.
For only being on for a couple months. And of course, our song's up on Spotify, and then what you just saw is up on YouTube. And my kids in the background, if you can hear them. And of course, we're on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram, we're trying to get like more followers on there. So if you're here on Facebook, go over to Instagram and follow us over there. I stay very active on that side too. My kid's having a tantrum. I have a 5-year-old. So if anybody wonders why I'm tired, I have a 5-year-old, and that's why I'm always tired.
Okay,
he's a handful.
So speaking of that, what's your favorite Disney movie?
Favorite Disney movie? Personally, my favorite Disney movie is actually The Little Mermaid.
Okay.
But probably my most recent one that they put out is going to be Moana. I've watched it a million times because of him. So Moana's the most recent one that I can think of that I like.
So if you weren't playing music, what would you be doing?
Well, I'm an interior designer by trade.
Okay.
So I do that full time. I work corporate interior design, so it's not very flashy. But I am an interior designer, so I do that. That's basically what I was doing before I joined a band. I was pretty bored, but I would sit around at home and design. I was going to shows and everything around that time as well, but I was trying to be a musician for the longest time again. I probably would still be doing my crafts because when the pandemic started, I needed something for anxiety, and I wasn't yet with Winter Solstice / Lilith Rising. So I'd already started that. So I probably would have been more full force with that if I didn't have music as well, because they're both creative outlets that I need.
If you could pick your own bill, who would be on it?
My own bill. Well, I absolutely. Are we talking about like local people or just anyone in general?
We could do both. That's fine.
Locally, I have not yet played with Dying Oath live. I would love to play with Dying Oath. We were supposed to play some shows with them. I would love to play with them. I would like to play with a silencing machine. I haven't played with them live yet. Again, we were supposed to play live together. I would like to play with Nova Omega again because I just like their energy. And let's see. Normally you'd have like me, and so it's like a 4. That'd be 4 because it'd be me and 3. Yeah. So that'd be a good bill. Yeah. Nova Omega would probably go on last since they have the most fans. Maybe them and Dying Oath. I don't know. I could just be their opener like I was before, so it's fine. But if I was talking about more bands like outside of that, of course I would love to open up for a band like Nightwish. There's also a band called Icon for Hire, which probably wouldn't play on the same bill. Hailstorm. Yeah.
Wow.
Hailstorm. Icon for Hire would definitely be a strange one to put in there and then myself and the bands. So Lilith Rising, Icon for Hire, Hailstorm, and Nightwish all together. I think that'd be a nice bill.
So hopefully Lizzie's watching. Hopefully.
Yes. I've been actually compared to Hailstorm before, and I'm like, no way, no, because I do have this like scream or some kind of thing that I do, which is more raspy, like her voice is. Like she goes from like really pretty to like really raspy. So, and yeah, I'm like, no way, don't compare me to anybody in that that kind of goddess realm. But then again, that could just be my imposter syndrome that kicks in. So, yeah.
So what was your best fan moment?
Best fan moment? I don't know if I've had one that I can like pick out in my head, because I like interacting with all the fans. Like I was saying that Brad is always up front, and he was like buying stuff the last show that we had at Skylark, and he was just super happy to see me. The idea that the lead singer of Dying Oath knew who I was before I walked up to her, that was pretty cool. She actually said she wasn't trying to like fangirl over me. I don't know if she was just trying to be nice, but she said she wasn't trying to like fangirl over me. So she wanted to give me my space. And I'm like, you were the one here for the show, not me. I was just here to watch you. So having other musicians that I really respect notice me and seek me out, like Travis from Scars Remains. He saw me at the same show and like knew who I was and remembered my face. So I think that's the biggest thing. It's not even necessarily that they're fans. It's just that they know who I am and I'm a fan of them as well. So I think it's more of a respect thing.
Okay.
Like I respect these musicians, so I don't understand why they knew who I am. I don't know if that's weird. So
No, it's not weird. It's sometimes it's shock.
Yeah. The weirdest fan moment that I had actually was way back in the day when I lived in New York City. And again, that was the band that was trying to be like Evanescence, you know.
Yeah.
That was what the record label was telling us to do, and that's what we were doing because we were teenagers. The weirdest moment I probably had with them was a stalker at that time. So they stalked me. They were a fan to the extreme. So they found all of my online information, and they found where I was, like where my studio was and all of that, and just like showed up at my studio and then wouldn't leave. So that's my weirdest fan moment, but I would say that's more of a stalker.
If you could be on any movie soundtrack, what would it be?
Movie soundtrack.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't actually thought about that. Somebody said that my stuff would go really well in like an action movie, like a magic action movie, that kind of thing. So I think one of the Marvel movies, or maybe one of the Marvel shows, it'd be really cool to be in that. Or DC, because I'm actually more of a DC girl. But since Marvel is more popular, let's go for Marvel. I think one of the breakout songs for Evanescence was actually on Daredevil, which is a DC movie, I believe, if you want to correct me if I'm wrong. But any of those superhero movies, I would be ecstatic to be in.
What superpower would you want if you could have one?
It changes. It goes from wanting to be invisible and like sneak into places to having... I think I would love to have the ability to change like time, like slow it down and travel through time.
Okay.
Kind of like, if you know what Doctor Who is, do that, but without the TARDIS. Just travel through space and time.
Never watched it, but I know who Doctor Who is.
Yeah, I'm a huge nerd.
Right.
So yeah, the traveling through space and time seems like a good superpower to have.
Well, wouldn't that go against the butterfly effect a little bit?
If you watch enough Doctor Who, they tell you that it doesn't really, as long as you don't change too much. But she ends up changing a lot. but it's normally when things are going wrong, like they're going off of the, kind of like with Loki, they're going off of their actual timeline. They're not supposed to be on that timeline. But it's more in the Doctor Who realm when they're just like, the Daleks weren't supposed to show up, so he goes and defeats the Daleks. So yeah, if you watch enough Doctor Who, if anybody else does watch Doctor Who and sees this, they'll know that eventually they talk about the whole time being more of a wibbly wobbly, not an actual line across it. It's all sorts of circles together. I sound like a huge nerd. I'm sorry.
Well, I saw this question earlier. Would you rather be Batman or Robin?
Batman. Absolutely. So I don't really love his backstory. You know, he's an orphan at the very beginning, but he does have all the money. So, and I do feel like I'm more of main character energy rather than, you know, Robin energy, you know.
I'm probably sidekick. Always.
Sidekick. So you could be the Robin to my Batman.
That'd be cool. Since you said you're on the nerdy side, Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, or both?
Harry Potter. Absolutely,
Yeah.
Harry Potter. A lot of people don't like it, but I never really got into Lord of the Rings. I read the books, and then I couldn't get through the books. And then I watched some of the movies, and the only one that I really loved was The Hobbit. That one I could do. Both the book and the movie. But the actual Lord of the Rings movie, not a fan. But I am a huge fan of Harry Potter. But I also did grow up in that time period too. So, yeah.
Do you remember Celebrity Deathmatch?
Celebrity Deathmatch?
Yes.
Vaguely?
Claymation, MTV.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If you could choose a celebrity to go into the ring with, who would it be?
Celebrity to go into the ring with. Daniel Radcliffe? I feel like I could take him down. But mainly just to say, hey, I met Daniel Radcliffe and I like punched him in the face.
Interesting choice. Is there a reason behind it, or just?
I mean, I like Daniel Radcliffe. It's not like I don't like him. It's just he's not much taller than me.
Okay.
And, I don't really want to take on another female celebrity.
So easy target.
Yeah.
Easy target. Okay.
Easy target. Plus, you know, I could just say, you know, I punched Daniel Radcliffe in the face. It was nice. People think he's taller than he is. He's not much taller than me.
So if you can choose one venue to play that you haven't played yet, where would it be?
Well, locally, I really want to play Amos South End. That's where I really want to play, just because it's a bigger stage. But if we're talking about like outside of that, I can't remember them off the top of my head. I know it starts with the Rose. But locally, I think I'd really like to play the Amos, the South End. And there's another venue that I can't think of off the top of my head. Oh, Fillmore. Yeah, I want to play Fillmore.
Okay. Not Madison Square Garden?
Madison Square Garden is big. I don't need to play really big places. Maybe the ball. It's the ballroom. I think it's in Jersey.
Starland Ballroom.
Starland Ballroom. Yeah.
What's
I play that one.
You play that? That's 2 minutes away from. That's 2 minutes away from me.
Yeah. I play that one. That was actually where I went and saw my first show. I think I saw Evanescence there.
Really?
That was my first show. Well, yeah, I think that was my first show. I saw Evanescence like my first big show. Everything else I had seen like locally, like here in North Carolina. But that was my first big show, was to go to the Starling Ballroom.
I'm there every other week. I'm literally like 5 minutes away.
Oh, cool. So you can just go to shows there all the time if you want to. If they're open right now.
Yeah, they're open. They just had half of Shinedown last night.
Oh, that's cool.
They had 2 of the members. They did an acoustic set.
Nice. Not the biggest fan of Shinedown, but I know a lot of people that are. So I've been fed Shinedown songs for a long time now.
So I'm normally there, or I'm at PNC Art Center in Homedale.
Yeah. Well, here locally, I'm normally at Skylark, or at this place called Tommy's Pub, or what was the other ones I'm missing? Milestone.
Okay.
The Milestone. So,
Have you ever walked out on a show?
No, absolutely not. No, I fumbled my lyrics and asked my band to start over, but they wouldn't start over. So yeah, but no, I've never walked out of a show.
Not even as a patron?
Well, I mean, I normally try and stay towards the end and see everybody there. I guess if I was at a show a very, very long time ago, one of the big bands, decided that they didn't want to play any more songs. So they walked out. So we all left. And I think they eventually came back because they still wanted to make their money. And the venue said they weren't going to pay them if they didn't come back. And that was, why did I just forget the name of the band? The band that does Jane Says. Why did I just forget the name of that?
It's gonna hit me. It's gonna hit me later.
Yeah, their most popular song was Jane Says, and I completely forgot the name of the band now. But I know it was one of the big festivals, and they were the opener, or not the opener. They were the headliner, and all of us walked. A bunch of us walked at the end of that. So, Jane's Addiction.
Oh, Jane's Addiction. There you go.
Yeah, it's Jane's Addiction, and everybody wanted them to play Jane Says, and like that's one of your most popular songs, and you're not putting out anything really new at that time, so a lot of us left. But I don't think I've really ever left a show, at least not in a mad way. I probably had to go to like take care of my kid, or I had a migraine, but those are the only reasons I ever really leave, is because I have to, because I want to.
As a musician, how do you feel about pay to play?
I think it's up to each musician, each band. There are certain ways that you can get exposure by paying for it, just like you can online. Like, for instance, you got to pay like Reverb Nation to like put up a certain song, and you got to pay to put your stuff online. So I'd say it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's also not necessarily a good thing. It's probably a moral gray area when it comes to the band. So it's really up to the band how much money they want to put into their craft, what they're comfortable with. I don't think as a band that we would pay to play, but it actually hasn't come up that much in conversation. So if it comes up where we really want to play a show and the requirement is to pay $2,000 and we really, really want to be on that bill, then maybe we do it. Maybe we don't. So it's up to the band. So honestly, I don't have $2,000 to put into it, so it would be up to the band to find that $2,000.
So I was always wondering about that, because most places are pay to play.
Mm-hmm.
And to a point, I mean, I agree with it to a point, but then if you don't sell your last ticket, you get bumped. Like it's just, I don't know. I don't think that's 100% okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to the bands if they want to do it or not. I really have never been to that point, so I don't have a full opinion. But I know that back in the day when I was signed on a record label, I would never have to pay anything out of my pocket to play a show. The scene has changed, obviously, and they most likely were paying to get me on something, or they did enough promotion to get us on something. But normally the venues would pay the bands. So I think a pay to play also just depends on, like, again, what you're willing to pay for your craft, for the exposure that you want. Maybe it gets you in front of new fans. That's fine. That's really, it's up to the bands. I really don't have a huge opinion either way. Again, I don't think that we would, but it also, I think, would depend on the situation.
Do you like playing festivals over intimate setting?
Either way, I'm happy to be on stage.
Okay.
But I actually prefer, I like the big festivals, but you're there for longer because you have to wait for other bands to go on and then switch out and so on and so forth. When you are just like one or two or three bands hanging out together at night, at a smaller venue, then it's easier to get to know your fans. It's easier to get to make new fans, new friends, easier to sell your merch. So I think I prefer smaller, intimate settings rather than big ones. Not saying that I don't want to play every single show that somebody comes up to me with, because I do. But it is a lot of fun to play more intimate settings just because you get to know people a lot more. And I'm a talkative person, so yeah. In the big ones, like for instance, we played Blind Tiger, there were so many people I wanted to talk to that it ended up just like shutting down and going back to the merch table because I was just waiting for us to go on, and we went on last. But I wanted to be there all day to support the other bands. But at one point, I just got so tired, I went back to the merch table. I'm like, people will come to me if they want to talk to me. Because at some point, my social anxiety kicked in, and I was just like, I'm going to go over here and take a nap. But I do like smaller settings, I guess, overall.
Except for Mandy, who else would you like to work with vocally?
I've been in talks with one of the lead singer of Silencing Machine. I do want to work with her. I think our schedules are just a little weird at this point, so I do want to work with her locally. I would love to do a collaboration with her. Really, anybody that wants to work with her. I'm talking to Taryn has a bad memory. Talking to the guys at 50 Flies, I think it'd be fun to like do a song with them. I talked to them before at Brewstock. That would be interesting to do.
That'd be cool.
It'd be cool to do some songs, just like go up on stage with some of the bands like Nova Omega, Award to Win. That would be fun to do. Mainly because it would just be kind of a juxtaposition between my voice and their voices. And there was another band that I was talking to, but for some reason I've just forgotten the name off the top of my head. But I just have bad memory. But I do know that there was talks of us like working together on a couple songs, or one feature song. But once I remember it, I will put it in the comments. They are really good.
Random question. What's your go-to karaoke song?
I think recently I've been singing a lot of I Miss the Misery by Hailstorm.
Okay.
I like belting out the first like note of that song. So that'd be really fun to do. I also do a lot of like Evanescence songs usually when I do karaoke because they're easy to do. So Call Me When You're Sober. That's an easy song for me to do. I like that one a lot. I was actually singing it in the car with my keyboardist a couple weeks ago.
So car karaoke.
Yeah, car karaoke, definitely.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to ask you. I'm just going to flip it around. Do you want to ask me anything?
Yeah, sure. How long have you been doing these interviews?
3 years.
3 years. And what made you want to start doing this?
Actually, it was a conversation at a karaoke bar, but I used to run home to watch Matt Pinfield, TRL, like anything on MTV. So that's any of the interviews. I mean, that's what struck me the most of wanting to do this. I just never had the courage to do it earlier. Till now.
Okay. Awesome. But the same question would be what the legacy that you want to leave behind, what's I guess the ultimate goal for you to get to with it?
With this, well, if MTV was a real thing again and VH1 was a real thing again, I would like to work the red carpet.
Yeah. Well, they still do red carpet shows and stuff like that. I think the majority of them are like online at this point. So
Yeah,
it's like YouTube Central or like Twitch Central or that kind of thing. So
I would like to be at one of those events.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Barbara Walters.
Like Barbara Walters.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Who would be your ultimate band for you to interview? Or have you already interviewed your ultimate band?
Ultimate band fully would be Korn.
Oh, yeah.
I did do an interview with Fieldy and his other band, but I would love to meet Johnson Davis.
Oh, yeah. I've gotten close to him. I've seen him on stage.
Yeah.
He came down. He was signing autographs like at one of the festivals that I went to. And I've been close to him. So I got to smell like the after effect of him being on stage. And that was pretty nice. We actually do a cover of Thoughtless. It's the Evanescence version.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. We actually do a cover of Thoughtless.
Very intrigued. If you record it, I have to hear it.
Yeah. We might do a recording of like our stage show at some point. We've been talking, or I've been talking about doing, I think our drummer's also been talking about doing where we can get somebody to actually record our live performance. But I hear it's like a little finicky when you do vocal, when you do all like the audio to video type of deal. So we'll figure it out at some point. I think those are my main questions. Your celebrity match. What would you do?
Probably Corey Hart.
Corey Hart. He's
or Kroger.
Kroger. That'd be an interesting one.
I
take him out or?
Oh, both of them definitely. I have no, to be honest, I have no problem with any of the other band members of Nickelback. I just hate Kroger and Corey Hart. I have wearing sunglasses at night. No.
I interviewed with somebody, I think it was my first interview back, and they wore sunglasses all the time. And I just found it weird that I couldn't like look at somebody in the eyes as I was talking to them. So that always irked me that I couldn't like see their eyes, because you can normally tell if somebody's lying. And that I think that's part of it, is like they put sunglasses on so that you don't have to see past the facade of their lies.
Eyes tell everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I was always a little weirded out by being interviewed with somebody with sunglasses on. And I think I had an interview like that way back in the day too, where somebody interviewed me when podcasts first started being on video form.
Yeah.
And that was the same thing. I was like, can you take your sunglasses off? Because I can't concentrate on anything but my own reflection And I am very distracted by shiny lights in general. So I'm just looking at my reflection in your sunglasses. And it's nice looking at myself, I guess, but I'm very distracted by that. So it was still fun though. I got through the interview but I was like ripping on them the whole time. Like, take your sunglasses off. Can I wear them? Can I wear these?
So if you can if you can give a message to your fans, what would it be?
I love them. I absolutely love them. Don't understand exactly why you like me, but I love you. And hopefully I can continue to get you to fall more and more in love with my music, our music, my voice, and the whole band's just amazing performances more and more the more we go on. So thank you for anybody that follows us. Thank you for anybody that listens to our music. Thank you for anybody that comes to our shows. You do not know, maybe you do, because a lot of you guys hug me, but you do not know how appreciative that we are of you, especially me, because I'm up there in the foreground singing my heart out, trying to get you guys to like me. And if you do, I love you. I love you so much.
So once again, where can you be followed?
So we are on Facebook at Lilith Rising Official. We are on Instagram as Lilith Rising Official. There's an underscore between each of the words on that one, but it easily is linked from Facebook to Instagram. We are also on TikTok, so come and follow us over there. We're Lilith Rising Official on there as well. We're on YouTube, Lilith Rising Official. Everything says official next to it, so if it doesn't say official, then it's not us. And you can always friend me on Facebook. I accept most friends. I'm going to stop at 1,111 friends for a little bit, but then I'm going to start adding friends again. So if you want to follow me on Facebook, you can, or you can add me as a friend. I'm Taryn Nicole Carpenter on Facebook. And then you can bug all of us on Facebook if you want to. The main ones that don't like Facebook is Steve. The rest of us are on Facebook. So I'm on there. And you can also follow, I know Alan is on Instagram, so you can follow him. He is Lilith Rising Official Drummer, I believe. If he's not, you can put it in the chat if you're still here, Alan. And then I am Twisted Taryn on Instagram, so you can follow me on Instagram as well. I think I got everything. We're also on Reverb Nation, and if anybody's on that, we're also on Bandcamp as well.
And make sure I'm going to tell everybody, make sure you share this and like it and subscribe.
Yeah,
to my channel, your channel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Our goal is to get to 200 subscribers on YouTube by the end of 2022, which is setting a low, but still high for me because I think we're only at 40. So if you're on here, make sure you're following us on YouTube as well, because a lot of the stuff that we put up is going on YouTube first, and it's also going on TikTok first too. Then it's released to Instagram, then it's released to Facebook. So that's how it's been going for now. So again, check out there's going to be a teaser very, very soon. Hopefully it's this year. Like I said, we got that photo shoot on the 19th. So we're going to be releasing a couple teasers of the new members that are coming to our group.
So nice little goose egg.
Yes.
Nice little goose egg.
Yeah.
All right. At this, I would like to thank you for your time, and I will talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Everyone. Thank you so much.
No problem.